trainer in GTA East, and today we're going to be doing a special session, a special edition of EZEncore, Getting Organized with Windows, and I'm here with a special guest, Sophia. Sophia, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, it's Sophia. I'm the territory manager for GTA West. I'm just joining Rob today and showing you guys how to stay organized.
Exactly. So we wanted to do a session on how you can get organized. And to be honest, I don't know anybody better than Sophia in getting organized with anything Windows, anything on the digital side. She's very creative as well. And we figured this would be the perfect opportunity to get her in, share some of those tips and tricks with you guys, so you guys can also get better at getting organized on your end of things. So right now on the screen, obviously you guys can see me, you can see Sophia right below me. We have this nice little whiteboard that's actually opened up right beside there as well. And that's because we're going to be actually starting off with Whiteboard and showcasing the agenda for today. So some of the things that we're going to be covering. So Sophia has the agenda. She's just going to be writing things down on her end. So first things first, so again, it's getting organized with Windows. And a couple of the items that we're going to be discussing and talking about, number one is obviously using Whiteboard. So this is something that we will mention as we kind of go along. The second thing is getting organized with Edge. So if you guys are doing a lot of browsing, how can you stay on top of being organized with the new Chromium Edge and the collections that's there? We'll also talk about you lending a device, how you can play around with multiple desktops, especially when you're lending that device out, making sure your desktops are nice and secure and giving a clean desktop over to somebody else. Now, another tool that is, Sophia is absolutely fantastic at is essentially using Snip Sketch. It's one of those ones that she's actually really great at using, and I know Sophia's kind of hidden away here. I just want to get her centered on the camera.
No, it's because I'm trying to write right now.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right there.
My handwriting is usually
that's okay. So we got the Snip Sketch and how to kind of use that and all the different features that will be available with Snip Sketch. We'll talk about OneDrive folders and OneNote organization. So you have that available. Let me just kind of move this up. And last but not least, you got sticky notes, to-do lists. And if we have more time, we'll throw in some extra things there as well. So we definitely have quite a bit of a packed agenda. We want to definitely spend a little bit more time on where you guys think you feel like you want to know a little bit more information on. But if otherwise, we'll start carrying through the paces, making sure that we fit in on the time. So just wanted to make sure in the chat, if somebody wants a message, can you guys hear us clearly? Is there any issues with the audio quality? Can you visibly see us? And if there is, let us know in the chat, and then that way we can make sure that we are adjusting everything that we're doing. All right, looks like Marianne has given us the all good. We got used to be a player, is also good to go. So thanks for letting us know that everything is looking good and we're looking sharp and the audio is coming out great. So let's kick things off. So here's what we're going to do today, because obviously Sophia is going to be leading this session. I'm going to give her some of the control here on Teams. So we're going to switch over to her screen. So I'm going to go over the Teams that we've been using. So let me just maximize the screen. And then what we'll do is we'll hop right in, starting off with collections on the new Edge. So Sophia, if you want to go ahead and share your screen there.
There, let me know when you see it.
Oh, it's coming in.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. We can see all that. So I'm just going to put you to full screen as well, just so we can see everything that you're working on. Perfect. There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get started off with the new Edge that's just came, the Chromium Edge. There's a lot of features here that are very familiar, especially if you're used to using some of the other web browsers. But some of the features that I really like on that is called collections. So as you can see here, like I have a lot of tabs open, and anyone that always looks at my screen, they're always like, "Kate, how do you even know what's what?" And this is on a good day, because most times I probably would have like double of the tabs here. But that's, I don't know about you guys, but that's because like my to-do list. If I don't have them open, I will forget like what I'm doing the next day or like in the next couple of days. And if you guys look at the top of my screen, I'm actually kind of interested in succulents right now. So I'm trying to help revive one of my plants, and I'm just trying to figure out which of the which plant it is so I can find out more information about it. But sometimes my mom will ask to use like my laptop to check her banking or any of like her work stuff. And one of my biggest pet peeves, I guess, is when you share like your device with somebody and they close all the tabs because it bothers them, but it's not their device. So if anyone is ever showing you their device, please do me and them a favor and just don't close the tabs. They probably have it there for a reason, but just to take the extra precaution and also just to kind of like reorganize my browser and make things a little bit cleaner, there's a feature on the new Edge called Collection. So if you click at the top right corner, you can actually, essentially the collections would be like different folders where you can store these tabs. So instead of me having like 10 or 20 tabs open at once, I can put all these succulent tabs into a collection. So I'll start a new collection and call it succulents. I think I spelled.
Yeah.
Nope, I didn't.
You missed the L there, but that's okay.
And then if I'm not looking at this now because I got some work to be done, I will just go to the tab or the page that I do want to save to my collection and then add current page. And I believe, Rob, did you say that I can actually like save the actual spot on the page too?
Yeah, I think what you'll be able to do is highlight some of the stuff there as well. So if you're highlighting specific content and stuff, there should be a way for you to be able to right click and click add to collection. So there's
try that.
Give that a shot.
So this is about the blue rose succulent. So you highlight the part of the page that you want to save, right click, and right here you see add to collections, and I'll add it to my succulents collection. And then, okay, you guys can see on the right side, you'll see like all the information there.
And this is a super cool feature, especially if you're using that new Edge and you want to take full advantage of it. This is a preview feature, but you can go, install into the new Edge. So if you want to get organized, in this case with Sophia, you have all that information in one place.
Right. And the cool thing about having like that snippet of that information is now I don't have a list of tabs or links that I don't even know like why I saved it. If you look on the right side, I highlighted that part that I added to my collections. And now if I click it, it will open it right up to that actual page. So I'm not, again, flipping through like 10 different tabs trying to figure out why I saved them. The recap of that information is there.
Yeah, you're trying to get to the succulent that you liked, and you don't want to have to go through all those pages to find that blue rose one again, right? So it makes it super easy to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then similarly, like with the text, I see that you can save the photos as well too. So I'm going to click on this photo of the succulent, add to collections, and then that picture is right there. So if I wanted to know specifically about this one, again, it'll give me that little recap summary of why that page is actually there.
I'm not gonna lie, I've learned so much about succulents already directly from this. Did not know that much about succulents, but now I do. Usually what I like to use the collections for myself, especially if you're trip planning, that's a huge one. You're checking out flights, you're checking out pricing, you're checking out so many different ways of checking into stuff, but you want to figure out, okay, where did I find this? How do I go back to it? Make that one collection and you have it all in one area.
Right. And even if like maybe you're scouring different places, right? Hawaii was one of them we're talking about. Maybe you want to go to San Fran, New York, LA, what have you, then you can have everything all organized there without taking up all that space on your actual browser.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now when I do show my browser, it all looks more or less pretty professional, but not a whole bunch of things all cluttering it up.
All right, perfect. So that was a little bit about collections and what you can do in collections. So I definitely recommend you going ahead and logging in, finding out, adding that collections tab, and then you're ready to go to jump in, start collecting all those things, and you're good to go. Now let's talk a little bit about multiple desktops. So how do you get organized with the multiple desktops there?
Okay, so now back to my mom example. So like if I open a new window for her to do whatever she's doing, sometimes there's the off chance that she will accidentally go back into my old window, or just possibly close any files that I'm currently working on. So like if I'm working on a Word document or an Excel file, if I'm just chatting, with my friends on WhatsApp, there's always a chance that she'll open it and then accidentally close it. So another feature that Windows offers you at the very bottom and closer to the left side, you can click on Task View and you can open, I don't think there's a max amount of desktops you can open, but similarly like to all the tabs that you're opening, you may not want to open too many at a time.
Yeah.
But actually, before we jump into this, I kind of want to take a quick review of like what you guys actually see on the screen here. This is the timeline feature on Windows, and I find it really useful because it takes a snapshot of what you've been working on every day. And so if you look at the bottom of the screen, it shows up into February 24th. But this is a very useful feature that I find, especially for someone who is just switching over to Windows 10, or like anyone who's not as tech savvy, where if they're working on like a Word document and then they quickly click save and they forget exactly where they save it to, timeline will show you that you are working on a Word document. So right here under earlier today, if I forgot where I saved it or what I named it as, I can actually just scroll down to when I first opened it. And then once I click on it, it will open up that document. And now you can actually take the time to, okay, well, there you go, it's right here. And now you can actually take the time to open it properly and save it properly into your folders.
Perfect. So yeah, Task View is a huge lifesaver in regards to making sure that if you're locating and trying to find anything that you're trying to look for, it keeps you definitely organized there. But I know the new desktop is the one that you definitely use with, like, for example, your mom, if you're handing your laptop over to somebody else, right?
Yes.
So how does that work out?
So essentially, everything that you've been working on the first desktop will be there, and you kind of just make another desktop, if you will. And now I can open up the browser in here, so she can do everything she wants. If she does accidentally close it, I don't have to worry about her accidentally closing any of my files or moving stuff around.
So I think it starts off with like a completely blank one if you're starting that off there, right? So you click on new desktop, completely open. And so this is not just for the browser, it's for a number of programs, right? You could be doing whatever it is, and then you need a nice clean slate. You hand it over to somebody, gives you a brand new way to work, right? And another way I was just thinking, it's also perfect for your own brainstorming as well. If you want a fresh workspace that you can be like, hey, I know there's a bunch of stuff I've been working on. I have my browser. I have these programs open. I just need a fresh, new, nice workspace to work in, get organized, get a little bit more productive. You can just open up that new desktop, and it's gonna kind of give you that workspace to work again.
Mm-hmm. Especially for anyone who's using like a computer for work, for school, and just personal use. If you want to organize yourself that way, you can always have different desktops for different versions or different kind of works that you're doing. So I may have my first one, if I use the laptop primarily for work, I'll have my first one as work. And then if I want to do any of my succulent browsing or any of that personal stuff, desktop 2. And then if you're currently in school and you don't necessarily want to close all the tabs of that research paper that you're doing, if you have it all saved on desktop 3, it kind of keeps you focused without you getting distracted and wandering off to YouTube or Netflix or something else.
Yeah, no, that's perfect example of how you can use the desktops there. Now, the next item on our agenda here was Snip Sketch. And I'll be honest with you, if there was ever a power user for Snip Sketch, you are that person. So I want to definitely see all your tips and tricks on how you jump in, what Snip Sketch is, how do you access it, and then all the different things that you can do with Snip Sketch.
Yeah. So Snip Sketch is the new, I guess, souped up, better version of taking a screenshot. I'm using my Surface devices here, and if you guys ever seen a Surface Pen, you can actually use the eraser end as a shortcut to take a screenshot. So I'm just going to press, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I'm in the screen. Press the eraser button, and then I use this a lot when I'm trying to take a screenshot to show like Rav something or anyone else on our team, or even some of like you guys when I'm talking to you in store and I wanted to show you kind of like a recap of what we talked about. Instead of sending the whole screenshot when there's like all my other tabs open, all this other suggestions or recommendations that are on there, I can actually snip like only a specific part of the screen. And then it will pop up. Did it pop up? Another shot.
I think they're popping up, but they might be popping up in the background there.
Oh, okay. So once it pops, it usually pops up in the corner, and then I can click on it.
You might want to just move my little video image there, so it might be popping up somewhere over there, or click on the notifications right beside your time there at the bottom. You might see it there. So the action control panel, yeah. So click on that. There you go.
Perfect. And then from here, the neat thing about the Snip and Sketch, the moment that you take the snip of it, it's already copied into your clipboard. So I can go like right after that, go right into WhatsApp or my email or my Word document, and then paste it as a message to that person. Or you can click on the little window that pops up and then start doing the edits that way. So maybe I want to highlight, I'm going to send this to Rav, and I want to let him know that, you know, the 15-inch Surface laptop is an AMD Ryzen 5 processor, not your usual Intel processor. And then also told him that it was on sale, or it's on sale. So circle that. So now I use keyboard shortcuts too. So Control-C, copy it, and then I'll pull up WhatsApp, paste it right onto the message, and then send that off to Rav.
And I just got that message directly on my device right over here. All right, that's looking great.
The one thing that I use this a lot for is if I ever make like online purchases or do any of my banking on the computer, and I want to take a quick screenshot of like the confirmation that I paid my bill or that I sent the e-transfer. Use Snip and Sketch with my pen, and then in this same window you can actually save it, and then this kind of brings us over to OneDrive, where I have kind of everything organized based on folder, and planning to get it a little bit more organized than what it is now. But you'll see here, if I scroll down to Sophia, I have like a little folder for bank. And then I'll just copy and paste I'll save all of like the little screenshot there. So if ever I have to review anything or double check that, you know, I paid my bill, at least I'll be all organized that way.
Yeah, that actually is a great point, because a lot of times I got to go in for banking, making sure I'm paying my bill, or even just check an expense or something. You always have to, you know, due to security, you always have to jump into your bank account, punch in all the passwords, go through the security questions. So even sometimes just checking some of that information, if you don't have the app readily available, becomes a little bit of a hassle sometimes. So at least knowing you can go in and you've already been there, take a screenshot of the thing that's important to you, and then you have that associated on your desktop or on your OneDrive. That's a good point. I think I'm going to take that one and I'm going to start using that actually myself. So that really makes sense. So in terms of your OneDrive folders, so I know you said you tend to get a little bit organized and save everything into the OneDrive. So is there more that different ways or methods that you like to upload things or get organized in those OneDrive folders?
Yeah. So the neat thing about Windows, just dropped my pen, is that you can actually add different multiple OneDrive accounts on your file explorer. So right now I have my personal account for my personal stuff, and then I have my work account as well too. And that way I don't have to just throw everything into my work account and then, you know, have trouble accessing it if I'm like away for work or anything.
Yep.
And then in my folders, let's see. So we're in FY20, so I have like a whole bunch of things from last year, but I don't want to have to keep going through folders and folders to get to what I need. So everything that's new coming up this year, throw it in my FY20 folders, and nothing very interesting to go through here. But if I'm working on like content for EZEncore right now, I have my little folder here so I can keep all the screenshots and all this stuff in there. And actually, I just recently made that today, just to throw this little picture in here as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take it back a little bit to when we're talking about the multiple desktops. On top of making multiple desktops, you can create additional users. So right here, I have every once in a while, like me and some of our other team, we'll host a Minecraft Hour of Code workshop just to kind of run kids through like the basics of coding. But if I open a new desktop, sometimes they actually go back to my like original desktop and then they're playing around with it. So just to kind of avoid all that headache in general, adding just this specific user for the Minecraft event, I can also change the desktop. How do you see the desktop?
Oh,
I can
right
change
there.
the background image to something that's more appropriate for the event, like the Minecraft event. Whereas right now, it's just kind of your like stock Microsoft background.
Yeah, fair enough. And I know we've done some of those Hour of Minecraft codes, so thanks for putting that out as well. So I think we did a session yesterday on Hour of Minecraft right here on EZEncore. I know we're going to be doing a number of those going forward as well. So if that's something you guys are interested in and learning about that, thanks for the shout out there, Sophia, and definitely mentioning Hour of Minecraft there.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so tons of folders. I don't think I have anywhere close to even that many folders in my OneDrive or even in other things, because sometimes like you want to access things right away, but I completely understand the organization side of that, making sure that everything is ready to go. So I know there's some feedback in the chat there, Bleak September, I love this. There's not enough talk about super tasking Windows. In my opinion, Windows already has the capability to break into the new phase of tasking, which is ultra tasking.
I love that. Love that term.
Could not agree more. Cheeky Bits also said, wow, I didn't know about the pen. Good to know for taking those screenshots. Yeah, the pen is definitely a lot more capable in terms of you being able to customize those buttons. So Snip Sketch is another one. And that's what Bleak September said, great Snip and Sketch tips. So they really, really appreciated that.
So actually, since you guys seem to really like that, I wanted to show this, kind of veer off topic for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
If you go search up pen in the search bar, you can go to pen settings. And then with your Surface Pen, you can actually customize the commands and the shortcuts. So I'm just gonna make this bigger. And then scroll down. So Windows Ink Workspace. So one click will start the screen snipping. A double click will send the actual screenshot to OneNote. So I don't know if you caught kind of what I just recently did. Double clicked, and then instead of me screenshotting, snipping it, and then copying and paste it right into OneNote, it automatically lets me take the screenshot. And then once I take the screenshot, I'll send it to OneNote.
Actually, that's the perfect segue, because I think the next thing on our agenda was actually talking a little bit more about OneNote and taking your full advantage of organizing things in OneNote there. So yeah, let's hop over to OneNote and let's see how you like to get organized in OneNote.
Okay, this is gonna sound like very nerdy, but I love, I didn't use OneNote in school because I just thought it was, let me just pull up this stuff really easy. I don't know, I kind of like handwriting my notes, but then I thought about it and started using it for work now, and I love it because it just keeps everything so organized, and it's also something that you can carry across all your different devices, right? So sometimes I'll go in stores with my Surface Book, other times I'll go with my laptop, and instead of carrying literally like a notebook with me to every single store, I have that with me. And you can also see all of this on your phone as well too. So if I'm actually, let me go back. So how I organize my personal OneNote for work is, as a territory manager, I cover a lot of the retailers, including like Best Buy, Staple, EB Games, and Costco. So what I have I'm pointing to my screen as if you guys can see me. Over here.
We can kind of see you in the little window there, though.
So I have my Best, like first I have my Best Buy and then all my different retailers. When you go into there, I have like all my different stores, and every time I go in for a visit, I'll put the date on that page, and I'll make any notes like the store needs extra security, or the store is requesting this, or one of you guys have a question for me that I didn't have an answer for. So I will jot down that note so I can look back like once I get home and try to figure out the answer for you, and then pop the answer right back onto the OneNote. So when I do come in store next time, I'll be like, hey, John, you were asking me about different things you can do with a pen. So here are some of the things you can do. I find it keeps me a lot more organized, especially because I don't visit the store, like same store every day. So I can, if I know my stores are A, B, and C for today, then I will go to those specific pages and just see what I need to bring or what kind of answers I need to bring. And then on top of that, I just have a couple other folders, I guess you can say, just for anything else. So quick access to how to level up on Expert Zone here. So sometimes I get some of you guys asking, how many points do you get for a story? Instead of me having to go into Expert Zone all the time and then downloading the document, literally just took a screenshot of it, pasted it here. So if you do have that question, let me just pull it up for you.
And great shout out to Expert Zone. So if you guys are not on Expert Zone right now, I definitely encourage you to get out there. Lots of exciting stuff, ways to level up, win some prizes. That's expertzone. Microsoft.expertzone.com. Expertzone.microsoft.com. Sorry. Yeah. So I'll type that in the chat just so there's no confusion. Definitely hop into that. Get signed up if you are a retail pro. You're working out there. It's a great way to stay up to date with everything Microsoft, and you can learn a lot of cool things, just like the streams that we're doing right now, right? We're going over getting organized with Windows and talking about OneNote with Sophia. So I noticed you said, for work, you have your notebooks there. What about on the personal side? How do you tend to get organized on your personal side of stuff?
Sophia's notebook.
All right.
Organized on it. So again, I try to keep work and personal a little bit separate, just so there's not a long list of things to do. But I love quotes. So the top thing that I have here is a quote. I wrote a lot too, but
yeah.
And I am looking towards starting something like a blog or just a journal diary. So I like writing, but then when I start writing, handwriting something, my hands get tired. So OneNote is the perfect notebook for you to type things up, have your thoughts out as quick as they come, and then organize it as well too. So if I wanted to start my own blog, I can have stuff about quotes, and then books that I read, reviews about movies, and then all of those different headings will have their own little pages where I can add different entries. And then what you see here is I had a lot of time, so I was trying to organize my room, and the one thing that the pen is really neat on here is you can either write stuff out and then change it to text. So if I were to write markers, I can select it and get it to ink to text, do that for me. Or if you have a text box open, you can actually open up this little writing keyboard here and write it in, and then it will change it for you.
I'm going to say one thing. I've attempted to use this, and maybe it's just me. My writing is absolutely terrible. And even though it's terrible, it's still able to pick up what you're doing. So it does learn. Your writing is amazing on there on screen there. Mine is you can't really understand what I'm actually writing. But over time, OneNote's picked it up, and now it's starting to figure all that out and digitizing it as well.
Yeah, actually, there's this one event I was doing that I was showing this to somebody, and then I introduced myself to them, they introduced themselves to me, but I didn't hear her clearly. So I got her to write down just something to try this out, and she ended up writing her name. And again, when she wrote it, I literally couldn't make out what she wrote, but Microsoft did. And then I was like, oh, okay, your name's Olivia. So it kind of worked out. But like with this, like I wanted to kind of handwrite everything as I was organizing through it. So I would write it down, click the enter button, and then write something else too. I don't know, crayons. And then that way you can just keep.
You got cursive going on there as well. Look at that.
But yeah, super useful for OneNote. Like this is my personal, if you're a student, the perfect way to keep all of your different classes organized. On the far right, on the far left, you can have all the different unit courses that you're doing. And then when you open each section, it would be a unit if you're in high school, or like week 1, week 2 if you're in like post-secondary.
That's awesome.
It's that way. If you're in the working field, if you're a real estate agent, you can have all your different properties organized along the left, and then just take notes of it. If you have something like the Surface Book or the Surface Pro 7, you can actually insert photos. I can take a new page. Insert pictures, and then from camera. So super useful for like someone who's like in real estate, right? If you want to take a picture of your property, take a quick snapshot, insert it right into the notebook, and then you can make all of your markings that way.
Oh, right from directly in there.
Yeah.
So we did get a question in the EZEncore chat, which is asking us, does this support different languages? So yes, OneNote does support multiple languages. So the interface itself has multiple languages, but if you're talking specifically about the ink to text feature, there was a few different languages that you can do. There's a whole list of supported ones. I can't really count out to see how many are here in total, but you have tons of them. So you're going, let's see here. English to Spanish, you got Irish, Japanese, Indonesian, Italian. So there's actually quite a bit, a number of them there. So you're going to be able to find that under the Microsoft support page. So there's tons of supported different languages that do work with the ink to text feature in this, as well as a number of other applications as well. All right. So yeah, thanks for that brief overview on OneNote. I'm not using it to the full capabilities as of yet. I saw how you have all your stores and stuff organized. Makes it super easy, especially if you're a person that's in field constantly and you need to keep up to date to stuff. So really good call out there. So let's move on to the next thing, because I know with OneNote it's great. You get detailed, you open up the application, but on our agenda we also had sticky notes and then followed by that to-do list. So how do you get organized with sticky notes on Windows?
I made that pop up by holding my Surface Pen Eraser. So that's another shortcut that you can use with the pen to kind of open different programs that you may use more commonly than others. So sticky notes is really neat. It's like literally digital Post-its that you can stick all around like your desktop. So if you have a to-do list, this is just some of the songs I like from that new show on Netflix, Love is Blind. So I was watching it and I was just literally taking notes of which of the songs that popped up. The reason why I have it in pink is I have my sticky notes organized based on color, which is a really neat feature. Pink is kind of like all my personal notes. If I have any notes that I notice, when I'm visiting in stores, I chose yellow just because. And then you can assign different colors. That's what I do. Like green would be if I'm drafting up a letter, an email, and I didn't want to necessarily do it in like a Word document or Outlook. I'll just make a new Post-it or sticky note and then change the color and then just start drafting that way.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to even get organized in something as simple as sticky notes. So usually the way I do it is like I'm on the phone with somebody, I need to quickly take a note or jot it down. The sticky notes is where I'm going, but then taking it to another level by including different layers, having it for personal, for work and stuff. I can see you can definitely get organized and have quick access to a lot of these things.
Yeah, so to your point about like taking a quick note, if you are on the phone with somebody, you can actually write on these sticky notes as you would like a Post-it note too. So if I'm grabbing down like somebody's phone number, I can use my pen to write down the phone number Nobody try to call this number. I have no idea what number I just write down. But write down the phone number. That way, if you need to make a note about a quick deadline, right?
Yeah. I think dates, I've seen in the past, like you can even write down flight numbers, and sometimes it will give you some quick access to the information when it's associated with flight numbers. So that's another one that I've seen sticky notes is able to really pick up right away. Oh, you're going to give it a shot?
Maybe if I type it, I think.
No, so it might be one of those features where you do need to activate on your end, but at least if you are quickly taking in, hey, I need to pick somebody up, and look at that, you have the call functionality right there. I probably wouldn't dial that, but yeah, try typing in the word flight right before the AC, and let's see if it picks it up from there. See if
I wonder
no.
if if you
Pardon?
have that flight connected to your Microsoft account, then it would recognize.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not even sure if a flight AC1234 is a real flight, so it could be one of those things where we're just not typing in a right flight there. But yeah, you know, using the Surface Pen to your full advantage, using something to type something away, we're in that phase, especially with Windows 10, where a lot of these devices are super thin, super light, modern, easy to carry around everywhere. So if you want to be able to pull it out, use it in like a tablet mode, especially a lot of the Surface Pro devices, it's easy to quickly take a lot of these notes there yourself. So that's awesome, sticky notes. So what about the to-do list? How do you usually work and get organized in a to-do list?
Yeah, so I mean, I've used some other like note-keeping apps, but they store all of your like jot noted notes and then actual like notes all together, and you can do it here with like a bullet point list as well too if you're making a grocery list. But I personally like to use the to-do list for anything that requires like a bullet point list, or like something that you need to check mark off. So the Microsoft to-do list is great. Like I love using it, and it has like the most satisfying ding when you finish a task. So
and where did you activate that from?
You download from the Microsoft Store.
Oh, perfect. And then I guess you could just search in to do, and it's gonna open that up for you, right?
Yeah. Yep. There you go. So I have mine like, personally pinned to my desktop just because I use it all the time, and that's another way that you can stay organized on Windows too. There's just so many different things.
Yeah.
You can just pin things directly to your taskbar, so you don't have to keep scrolling through the menu all the time for it. But here's my to-do list. You can make multiple lists as well too. So I have like a packing list. You know, if I'm like the worst at keeping track of like who I lent money to and who I owe money to. Thank God I have really honest friends. But like here, I have a list for money. So every time like I pay somebody back or they pay me back, I'll just check mark it. And then that's how I kind of keep track of something like that. Or, you know, stuff that I have to do for work. And then when you finish something, let me know if you can hear this. Did you hear that, Rob?
No, but the reason is if you go all the way to the top of your screen, in that little bar that's going to show up, that audio button is right there. Right there. You got to turn that on. Click on that. And now if you click on something.
Ready?
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay, yeah. So every time I just finish something, it says ding, ding, ding all the time. And that just kind of adds to the satisfaction of you completing all your different tasks. But like I said, you can make all the different new lists. Packing is like, I'm a last minute packer. So it's always good to kind of like, as I'm going through my day, just noting down like different things that I may forget. And then when I actually sit down to start packing, you can start checking it off.
I feel like for every single trip I've taken, there's always like, hey, I know I've sat down at one point and made a solid list of making sure whenever I need to take a trip, what I need to pack. But then every time I'm taking another trip, it's like, where'd that list go, right? Where is that? Where did I make that list? I can't remember where it is. So this is a great idea. It's just having a packing list so you're nice and organized and you can always go back to and refer to it.
And then the one thing that's really neat is if you want to kind of clear your screen, you can hide completed tasks. So then now you see what else you need to pack or what more things you have to do. But once you get back from that trip and you are going on a different trip, you can click show completed tasks and uncheck all of them. So then you have your packing list like fresh as new.
Perfect. Yeah, so I can definitely see that. I see you're getting some notifications on your side. It might be on your PC, so maybe you want to just adjust your audio again and mute the audio from the top bar there again. Should show up right across the top if you just move your mouse up there and just leave it there for a second. There you go. Perfect. And that's no problem. That's a function of Teams actually. So because we're using Teams, it's one of the features of sharing your desktop. And that's how Sophia is able to actually share her desktop here. And it's just another way to get organized and work and collaborate as well, right? Mm-hmm. So awesome stuff in the ToDo List. I don't have this app, so I'm definitely going to be going and downloading this, making an area where I can start putting in some of the ToDo List stuff. Looks like there's some themes and stuff.
Too, yeah. So.
All right. Yeah, so hey, if you're getting packed and you're packing for the Hawaii trip, why not set it up and get in the mood as you're getting all the work and stuff sorted out. So last things that we wanted to cover for today, obviously we're answering questions as we go in the chat, but hey, if you guys have any other questions about in the chat, or if there's something that you would like to hear about in terms of how you can get organized with Windows, or maybe a specific program you'd like to know a little bit more about, let us know in the chat and we can try to cover it. There were a couple things that we wanted to talk about. So we started off with Whiteboard. So let's talk a little bit about Whiteboard and how you use that, how we can use that for collaboration to actually work together. So I got my Whiteboard open in front of me here as well. So I can see that, and then we can see your Whiteboard on your end. So we're essentially working with the same document here. So I got it open in front of me. I'm just going to go back to the other view here. Perfect. So you can stop sharing your display there, and I can have it here, and then we can work together, and you can just walk me through some of those tips and tricks for Whiteboard.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm just going to minimize you here so we can see you again. And then let's walk me through some of the ways that you like to use Whiteboard and some of the things that you like to do.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys, if you're still in school or if you finished school, if you remember making like different mind maps, but that was, I always liked that because like it was like a bit more on the creative side. But the neat thing about Whiteboard is, yeah, you see Rav's pencil case at the bottom. You can actually change the font size or your marker size based on if you want something really thin or thick. And the way I organize that is like all my titles or like big topics are usually on a thicker marker. But the neat thing is that you have about 6 different colors that are already there. So you don't have to keep going back and forth to switch between like a thick black versus like a thinner blue color and like a medium sized red color. So that's also really useful. And then with the Surface Pen, you can also use the eraser. So since Rav is scrubbing all over my whiteboard, I'm just gonna do a quick cleanup, right? But it really makes the whole experience of actually writing on a whiteboard or on like a notebook that more intuitive, because instead of having to switch to the eraser, you can just flip your pen around and then erase it that way. But if you are using a pen that doesn't have that functionality, but you can definitely just click on the eraser itself. And then use the pen tip to erase. Some of the other features on it is like with the ruler.
So just kind of to break down Whiteboard, it's obviously a collaboration app. As you can see across the top here, this is my Whiteboard, my view that we're looking at right now. But I've gone ahead and shared this with Sophia, so she can actually write in and access everything on the Whiteboard directly herself. But at the same time, we can actually work together. So I'm looking at that. So that means Sophia has actually just written down hello there. But at the same time, if I want to work on it, so I have my pen here, I can go ahead and delete and access. And this is where that collaboration comes in. So, tying into organization and building out things. So you were talking about mind maps. So what's the way that you usually start getting into working through that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, if, sorry, can you just, I'll start writing. I'll start writing so you can see where I'm starting. Okay. So if we wanted to, a mind map and brainstorm different content that we're working on for the stream.
Yep. So getting organized.
I'm writing when the screen is up, but it will look a lot nicer when it's flat.
Yeah.
If we want to look at different like main topics, so we can color coordinate as well too. I love my colors. But let's do like to-do list. And then Rav, if Rav's thinking he can use blue and he's thinking other things we can talk about like OneNote or OneDrive, he, instead of telling me to write it down, he can just go into the the whiteboard itself and add the notes accordingly. So if we want to use, colors to add different topics that we're talking about.
Yeah, so it's a great way to get organized, especially with the things that you're working with. So, you're getting organized as you're collaborating. So yeah, I think, we should be talking about sticky notes. So like I said, my writing's terrible. I wasn't joking when I had mentioned that. Your writing is definitely a lot cleaner, but it's a great way to get interactive, especially with Whiteboard and on Windows. And give you access to that. Now, another cool feature, I remember doing a session with Ryan, is this ruler. Like, this is where, you're trying to make those straight lines and stuff. So, maybe I want to output something else from here and I want to make sure it's nice and straight. I can actually use that ruler and have that nice straight line there. So that's another cool feature that that we were kind of looking on. Now, I remember you moving things around. Like, I saw you kind of cutting things, pasting things, moving things around there. So how do you go about doing that?
Mm-hmm. So maybe, we like the sticky notes idea and we jotted down a couple like different things that we wanted to talk about under sticky note.
Yep.
But then I want to move sticky notes to talk to before my to-do list. So instead of like erasing and rewriting all of that, I can just select sticky notes. So with your Surface Pen, there's a button where you can select. If not, I believe that lasso tool at the bottom will let you select.
Yep. Lasso select. Yep.
So it grabs all of the strokes that you did, that you selected, and then you can just drag it around somewhere else.
Ooh, just floated.
Did that.
It just floated completely the other side. That is pretty cool, actually.
So I'll move the whole sticky note on top of to do, and then, we can just draw another line that way.
Yeah, and we did a session a little bit earlier where we actually talked about Whiteboard in our team session. This Whiteboard, I mean, it's great for work and getting organized, but nowadays a lot of people are working from home. We know that a lot of people aren't going out and about, but you can use this to have a little fun as well, right? Like if you're connected on Whiteboard, you want to play Hangman on here, you want to play Pictionary or whatever digitally. This it's actually a great way to use Whiteboard together and to have some fun there. Are you drawing something for Hangman there?
Let's do Hangman.
All right, let's keep the all right. Are you drawing something?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me draw something first, and then.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
The bottom left corner. There.
Got it. Oh, okay, so you've already chosen a word there. All right, let's play with the chat there, guys. We're playing Hangman. So somebody toss out a letter. Let's see if we can narrow down to what Sophia has actually drawn down. Okay, an M. Do we have an M?
No, we don't.
No M. Bad luck. All right, a W. We got Marianne saying W. Oh, no W. Can you give us a hint? Is this based on organization and stuff, or is this something completely different?
Xbox related.
Xbox related. Look at that. Okay, we got an A. Is there an A? No A. All right. Oh, this is not looking too good, guys. E. Oh, we got an E, guys. We got 2 E's, 3 E's, 4 E's. What would be Xbox related with what we're looking at there? Controller, no. Could it possibly be a game, maybe? Have you been playing a game recently? Let's go with I'm gonna go with L. Oh, we got an L. All right. Anybody else want to take a shot? What other letter can we narrow down to? Nothing coming in yet. Okay, I'm gonna go with an O. Nice. Yeah, Marianne said an O as well. Let's go with an O.
Unfortunately, there's no O.
There's no O. Oh, we were thinking the same thing. How many other vowels do we have left? A, E, I, I. How's I?
Yes, I is right there.
All right. Any guesses? Does anybody want to take a shot at what this is? Hangman's missing 2 legs. We don't have much that we can actually guess here. Okay, I'm gonna go for another vowel here, and it might be wrong. Let's go for you.
Sorry. You guys,
No
he has one
you.
leg left.
All right, guys. One last letter from the chat. Take a shot. Let's see what option we can have in regards to this. So, EL. All right, we have an S. We got 2 people saying S. Please tell me there's an S.
Sorry.
Oh, there's no S. What was the answer? Oh, Bleeding Edge. All right, brand new game released on. I should have thought about that. New Xbox things. Yeah, Bleeding Edge, brand new game. It is available on Xbox Game Pass, made by Ninja Theory. It is available to download as of now. Go ahead, check it out. I know Bleak September saying the same thing. I can't believe he didn't get that. I think we all missed that one. We probably got caught up with the double E's there. That's what threw me off right away. But you can see how, using Whiteboard, it's about getting organized, but you can also have fun this way, right? So all you're doing is installing a Whiteboard app, starting a new whiteboard, going to the top, hitting the share button, and then selecting whoever you want to share, or getting a link and sharing the link with somebody, and then have a little fun. You're stuck at home right now, might as well have some fun, play some games, Pictionary, Hangman, whatever it might be. So yeah, that kind of wraps up our episode for today. Just to go back to the agenda, what we kind of talked about. So Sophia, if you want to recap everything that we kind of talked about here, if you can see it.
Yeah. So just kind of some of the tips and tricks that we shared with getting organized with Windows is using Whiteboard like we did for fun and also for collaboration. On Edge, if you are looking at different web pages, you can save them all into your collections. And this is under the new Chromium Edge. That way you can actually go back to the different tasks or the different tabs that you had without having loads of different tabs. I can't even talk anymore on your browser. And then if you are lending your device to somebody, instead of risking them close all your different tabs or different files or folders that are open, you can open multiple desktops that way and then just have a dedicated desktop just for them. Or if anyone's just using the computer for multiple uses for work, school, and home, you can have different desktops open so all of your information is more organized that way and you're more focused. We also talked about Snip and Sketch. So how you take screenshots in specific areas of the screen instead of a full-blown screenshot, and then using a pen to highlight, circle, or underline specific information that you can send through an email, copy and paste onto a Word document, or send through a chat to somebody else. Or you can save it to your OneDrive. So we also looked at how you can set up your different OneDrives on one computer, and then organize all the folders accordingly so you can save files and folders and pictures into specific folders. And then under your Microsoft account, you also have OneNote, and that's something that I use to keep organized while I'm at work, but also on a personal side. So it's your online notebook. You can have different tabs to organize or different folders, and then you have all of your notes you take on the pages itself. And then moving on to sticky notes, which is also connected to your Microsoft account. I guess all of these are.
Yeah.
Notes is your digital version of a Post-it. So you can physically write on these sticky notes with a touchscreen laptop and a pen, or you can type it out, draft up emails or draft up little messages, take notes when you're visiting when I'm visiting certain stores, or if you're on the phone call with someone, you need to take a quick note of somebody's phone number, contact information. You can just pull up sticky notes and write that down. And then last but not least, the to-do list. You can set up multiple lists of things you need to do, packing list, dates and deadlines, and then as you finish them or meet those deadlines, you check off, and it has a satisfying little ding that you get when you finish something.
That was one of my favorites, actually. I haven't gotten to the ToDo app, so that's something I'm definitely going to be getting on top of, downloading after this. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, today. So, we had some feedback here. So I'd love to see more interactive stuff like this on this from Bleak September. Love the Hangman one. Just basically anything that's a little bit more creative than a straight up quiz is perfect example of getting interactive. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We appreciate your time. Sophia, thank you very much for your time. Awesome, great first stream. Hopefully, we can have you on more regularly for some other topics and even beyond getting organized. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great one and stay safe out there.
Thanks, guys.